Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents The Corner Bookstore, hosted by Red O'Loughlin. Step into a world where every story inspires. These pages come to life through the voices of authors from around the globe. Written by our global community of TV show hosts and best-selling authors, these works span genres, generations, and geographies, united by the power of storytelling. Discover your next favorite book and meet the minds behind the work. Thursdays, only on USA Global TV and Radio.
Howdy, Red O'Loughlin here. Welcome to the Corner Bookstore on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. Almost should call it Thursday with Red because for the next couple hours after this show, I have two more shows going on. So Thursdays I have at 11 o'clock the Corner Bookstore. Then at noon I have the Wise Ones, and at 1 o'clock I have Talking Heads. When I'm not doing TV shows, I research the human body at the cellular level. Chemically speaking, I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause, fix a problem. Treat symptoms, and you'll always be treating symptoms. And so that's what I write about. That's what I speak about. I got a few books on that topic. In fact, my topic today is on Parkinson's. What are the causes? How do you prevent it? What triggers it? That would be my topic today on the Talking Heads. But my main topic today is CJ Peterson. CJ is a dear friend of mine. We've known each other for a number of years. And she has, I could take 2 minutes on each of the topics that I want to talk to her about, and we'd be here until next Thursday. It's just amazing the amount of stuff this woman has accomplished. So, CJ, please join me up here on stage.
Hi.
Good to see you again. It's been a little while, hasn't it?
It has. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you.
You have a saying, and I really love it. I'm going to start off with that one. The stories are fiction, but the journey is real. I think it's something like that. Tell us a little bit about that before we get started, because I think that kind of summarizes up a lot of stuff in your life.
That is actually my tagline. What the stories are fiction, the journey is real. I like to take people on a journey in my stories, in my life, and pretty much everything that I do. Whether it's they're reading one of my storybooks, whether they're taking a journey in my videos, whether it's in my blog, because I have a Journey Through the Dash is the blog that I started, whether it's the books that they pick up. If I can make you laugh and cry in one book, then I have done my job. I have reached the interior of your emotional core. And that's my goal, is to do that.
Fantastic. I 10-time award-winning author. That's pretty impressive. You write in a number of different genres: fiction, adult, fantasy, romance. One of the ones I wanted to ask you about, I was looking through your list, Christian fiction. Is that Christian figures in the Bible that you bring out and develop, or what is exactly that kind of genre?
Well, I write Christian fiction, and I basically, everything else is kind of all encompassed. I tell people it's Christian fiction, but it's not your mama's Christian fiction. If you're looking for Janet Oki, just keep looking. I am a sci-fi geek. I am a fantasy geek. And I decided that basically everything else is multi-genre underneath it. I have supernatural / paranormal. I have time travel. I have genetic manipulation. I'm working on a fantasy. So everything else is kind of up for grabs. And so when you pick up one of my books, my readers know that when they pick it up, they never really know what they're going to get, because I like to challenge myself regarding the multi-genre portion. They just know that it is Christian fiction. Whatever it's going to be, there is a Christian element in it. They just never know exactly what genre it is.
Okay. Now, you started out writing, I guess, probably at a fairly young age. When did you decide to actually become an author?
Well, I first published in 2012, and that was thanks to my husband, I call him Super Hubby. We had started reading the books, and the first one was Strength from Within is the one that I read to him. And he goes, you really do need to publish these books, because I wrote them as an escape. My growing up wasn't the best. And he said, you need to actually publish these books. And so I made a deal with God. And when I tell people that, they're like, oh, the horror, you actually made a deal with God. Well, yeah. They make deals with God in the Bible all the time. My deal with God was that I would publish the books, and he would get them into the hands of those who actually need to read them, and the messages will reach the hearts of those who need to do them. And so we publish those books, and the stories that I get back, as long as it touched at least one heart, I'm good. But the stories that we get back and the messages that I get actually touch me. It's more of a blessing to me than it is to them, honestly. And when I get those messages, those are the ones that I hold closest to my heart. And I love getting messages of like, you did not really just do that. And I'll always be like, okay, what book are you in? And I'm like, okay, you don't even need to tell me where you're at. I know where you're at. You're good. And I love getting those. And when I was doing the Team Angel series before Divine Legacy came out, there was one lady, she was an older lady, and she goes, the only question not answered in Seasons of Change and the Holy Flame trilogy is what's in the box. And this older lady messaged me. I have no idea who she is to this day. And she said, I'm an old lady. I'm going to retire. I'm going to die before I find out what's in this box. You have to tell me what's in this box. I said, I really need you to just hold on. It's answered in the first chapter of Divine Legacy series. Trust me, you'll be okay. She goes, no, I'm going to die. You need to tell me what's in this box. I need to know. When I get messages like that, I'm like, yay, I've done what I need to do.
My daughter was dating a man a while back, and he had started writing a book, and the main character was carrying around a 6-pack of beer, but the bottles were not beer. They're something else. And it turned out it was a cremated remains of his best friend that he always wanted to have by his side, which was kind of strange, but you didn't know that until about the 3rd or 4th chapter. But everywhere he went, he had the 6-pack that he always took with him. But again, it's just, you have something, it's there, you want to know what it is, but it's delay. And then all of a sudden you find out what it is. Oh, well, okay. Interesting.
Well, it's that, and you get attached to the characters, because in that particular series, it spans about 13, 14 books. And there's also a 20-year jump between the one set of books and the Divine Legacy series. So they get attached to the characters because they cross over storylines in that particular set of books.
Mm.
So
how many series do you have characters that cross over?
Just that particular set. It's Strength from Within. It's the Grace Restored series, the Holy Flame trilogy, and then it jumps into the Divine Legacy series. And then there's one novella that actually wraps it up. It's a 10-year time span of me actually writing. So those characters actually did get attached to very well, but the characters crossed over storylines, and you got attached to the various characters throughout that time span.
I know you had a lot of stuff going on in your life during COVID. Were you able to be fairly productive as an author during COVID?
Oh yeah. At that point, my sister and I had started Texas Sisters Press, and so we were able to convert the books into Texas Sisters Press. Also during that time span, I was able to get some more writing done. That's when I got the Sands of Time trilogy was written, which is where genetic manipulation. I described that one as Stranger Things minus the Mind Flayer stuff meets X-Men. That one was finished, and I had started Chain Reaction, which is a time travel one. I described that as reverse butterfly effect, where they're going back in time to purposely change the family line because the family line was dying, and they had to basically change some certain ancestors' decisions to extend their family line. The question is, would they survive it by the time they were done?
How much research do you have to do for that?
Well, the way I describe the way that I write, there are certain types of writers. There are planners, pantsers, and sometimes there's a little bit of a hybrid in between. I'm a pantser, which is basically I sit down, pray, and type. That's a pantser. So when it comes to a history, which was a challenge for me, I only had to do enough to do that particular scene. And so I did some history. And for example, in the one portion, the very beginning, it was regarding Oliver Hazard Perry. Their ancestor had initially killed Oliver Hazard Perry, therefore turning the tide of the original war and the Battle of Put-in Bay. They had to stop their ancestor from killing Oliver Hazard Perry at that point, which then set the time correct and what was going on in that particular war. And the Americans did then win the Battle of Put-in Bay. The next one, they jumped to the 1920s where there was prohibition. And so there was a little bit of research that needed to be done, but not a whole lot. The next one, they jumped into the 1980s. So you had to go with technology, but you had to figure out clothing. You had to figure out, there were no bobby pins in, 1813. So I had to figure out certain clothing. I had to figure out certain things regarding the timelines, but just for that particular time. I didn't have to do deep dive research. I just had to figure out what I needed for that time.
What other genres do you read for pleasure?
Well, when I'm writing, I don't read others, but I do enjoy mysteries. I enjoy spiritual warfare. I enjoy Frank Peretti. I love Frank Peretti. I have a myriad of them. I don't know if you can see the wall behind me. I love science fiction. I love just about everything. I have a wide variety of things that I just love to read. If it's not boring, I usually read it.
Okay, so you're writing your books. Editing has always been a major challenge for us writers. That's one of those things that, yeah, I read it. There's nothing wrong. And then all of a sudden somebody else, what? Why do you have that? And it's just, so editing, I'm sure with you is the same way. I haven't found any author that just loves editing. It's just one of those things that you're an editor or you're a writer, but you're usually not both. But most of the time you end up doing a lot of your own editing. What were your first couple of 3 books like versus the books you're doing now?
Well, I had to rewrite my first book, which was the bane of my existence. It took me a whole lot longer to do that because I am a pantser. However, because Strength from Within was part of that huge set, I had to rewrite it. That took me a whole lot longer. Normally, it takes me like a month, maybe 6 weeks to write a book and then edit it and send it through. But my editing process usually is I write it, and then I read through it, and then Super Hubby and I blow it up, and then I read it aloud, and he sits beside me and makes sure that everything looks what I'm reading it. And then I send it to my content and copy editor, who is very brutal. So if you have an editor, make sure they are brutal because you want them to be. And then they send it back to me, and then I re-edit it. And then I send it through Voice Dream Reader. So I am reading it at the same time that it's being read to me. Therefore, I'm making sure that it's reading aloud and it's sounding how it's supposed to be as I'm reading it along. And then I do the same thing again where I blow it up and I'm verbally reading it while Super Hubby's reading it along with me before I even send it up. So it crosses no less than several pairs of eyes prior to going up.
The ability to read and hear at the same time is amazing, because you think you wrote something, but when you actually hear it and you're seeing it, sometimes you still see what you thought you wrote, but it doesn't sound right. And I find that to be a very amazing way to do things. So you ended up re-editing or rewriting or whatever. And that sometimes, as you say, can take a long time. Nowadays, the process is fairly well streamlined, and you write a book in a month, 6 weeks, was another 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks to get the final version ready for publication.
It doesn't take me that long. Usually it takes my editor about 2 to 3 weeks per book. And then once I get it, it doesn't take me anywhere near that long. And then I do my own book covers. I do my own book trailers. And so once that gets up, it's kind of up to Ingram and Amazon as far as once those are done, getting them together and getting them up and out.
Okay. Book covers. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Mhm.
Where is I know you're a content creator, but that creativity for a cover, and you got some really amazing covers.
Well, thank you.
Where does that come from? You write the book and then the cover kind of develops from that, or you have the cover and you kind of go back and forth?
It's the reverse. What I do is I have in my mind usually what I want my character to look like. And so I tend to go to Dreams Time is usually where I get my stock photos. And so I find my main character in Dreams Time, and I pull that cover, that person down. That is my main character. And as you look at my books, there's usually a picture of the main character on the cover somewhere. And then that's what I build the character around. That is my main character. So I don't do cover reveals until it is almost time. You can usually see them covered up prior to, and then I don't tell what my book is titled or anything until it is time. I protect my work completely until it is ready to go. And then, for example, when it was time for Sands of Time trilogy, in the beginning of the book, if you open it up, I actually picked out all of the characters. There are pictures of them in the beginning of the book. All of my characters, the main characters, are pictured in the beginning of that book. I went through stock photos so I could pick out all of the characters so I knew what all of them looked like. And so when people go through, because there's so many of them, you can actually see the main characters and what they look like as they go through the book.
It's interesting. Very few of the authors I've talked to have actually done that amount of work and actually having an illustration, a picture, a photograph, or describing each individual character. So that is something that is above and beyond. I think, we allow our imaginations to kind of form what we see for the main character, but you're helping us along.
Yeah. So for example, Race Against Time, the Sands of Time trilogy, these 4 main characters are there, but in the beginning of the storyline itself, they're actually in the book.
Okay.
What the main characters look like. So the reader has an idea of what the characters look like. And I wanted them to have an idea because in my head, I wanted them to understand what these characters actually look like. Because there's a group of gifted, and then there's a youth group as well.
Most of us authors have a tendency, we write the book and then we start to market it after it's available to the public. It just seems that that's what happens. Then as you get to the 4th or 5th book, you start, okay, now I'm telling the world ahead of time. So how is your marketing campaign? I know your skills have transformed amazingly, but from beginning 2012, 15 timeframe versus 2020, 2025, what does your marketing program look like now?
When I know I'm close to getting there and I know I have a date, I already have the cover done. The cover's done before the book is done. When my book is sent up to the editor is when I already start making the ads and the book trailer, because I know what the book is going to look like. I know what's already in the book, so I can create the trailer. I can create the ads themselves and have them already ready. Now, regarding the date itself, that's fluid because I have no idea what Ingram is doing and what Amazon is doing regarding the actual release date. That I can put on later, but I can create the ad and I can create the book trailer, no problem.
We're going to go to a commercial break here in just a few seconds. I want to come back and talk about some other aspects of your life, podcasting, travel, photography, all sorts of stuff. So why don't we go ahead and go to a break and come back, and then we'll venture down a different road.
Okay.
What if one simple skill could change the way you connect with the world? What if listening could open doors to deeper relationships, stronger businesses, and a better you? Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, brings you USA Global TV and Radio, a space where voices are heard, ideas are shared, and global communities thrive. Through the elevated listeners' courses and books, you'll master the power of listening, set boundaries with confidence, and transform conversations into opportunities. Join us. Listen, learn, elevate. Whether you're a leader, a coach, a business owner, or someone seeking stronger connections, your journey starts today. Subscribe, learn, and transform today.
Brett O'Loughlin here. We're on the Corner Bookstore on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. And my guest today is CJ Peterson. CJ, please join me again. Social media. Which social medias have you ventured into, and which ones have you finally decided this is where I'm at?
I'm kind of on all the things. If I know that there's one coming out, I tend to jump on and grab my handle, which is generally authoress_CJ, with the exception of, I know YouTube, it is CJ Peterson. And I do believe on some of them, I can't have the underscore, so it would just be authoress_CJ. But generally speaking, it is authoress_CJ with the exception of YouTube.
Okay. Lately, you've been on TikTok. We talked about this the other day, and you said just a few months ago you had a couple hundred, and boom, all of a sudden you're 10,000.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, the beauty of TikTok is I'm a Gen Xer. And I found out that the Gen Xers are taking over TikTok. And so I dove into that. I am a hardcore Gen Xer, and I will support my Gen Xers all the way through it. And I have no problem whatsoever doing that. And that's what I did. I went from 250 to like over 10,200, I think, as of this morning, literally overnight. And I also like to post the videos. As I mentioned beforehand, I was actually diagnosed with cancer last year. And I started a blog/vlog called Journey Through the Dash, which is the date of your birth and the date of your death is the dash is the in-between. And I started celebrating life once I kind of came out of, I had hip replacement. They found 2 tumors in the soft tissue of the hip. So after that hip replacement, I had to have radiation therapy. So my brain was in a complete fog for about 6 to 8 months. Once I started coming out of that fog, I decided, okay, God's giving me a second chance. I'm going to celebrate everything life. And so I started doing these short reels. And I started putting up and celebrating everything from restaurants that we go to, when the gang up here go out, when we go to Andretti Racing, Super Hubby and I go to, that's what I call my husband, when we go out to Andretti Racing, or we find this really cool place up here in Oklahoma City, or we go to do the Comic-Cons that I help run. And hubby helps me, we help Javier Torres run Comic-Cons, or we go to parks like we just did last week. We went to state and national parks. I put up all these short reels, and we're just celebrating life. And that's the journey through the dash. And people are loving that. I will reach 1,000 easy views through those. And people are loving those when they hit YouTube or they hit TikTok. Those are taking off like nobody's business. As long as they're under 3 minutes. And that's the key. They have to be under 3 minutes.
Okay, you just got back from another trip this past week, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
and
we went to Utah and Idaho.
And you're talking about Bryce Canyon and Zion and a couple of other places I think we chatted the other day.
Oh my gosh. And then Cave of the Moon in Idaho. Oh, that place, any creative, go to Cave of the Moon in Idaho. That place is otherworldly. Another one is Bryce Canyon in Idaho is another one that it will inspire creativity like you wouldn't believe. And it has half the amount of people that go to Zion go to Bryce Canyon. And that one actually inspired part of the story of the trilogy that I'm currently writing.
You are much more of a content creator today than you were 5 years ago.
Oh, hands down.
Where does the creativity come, or is it just the fact that you have the technology now that allows that creativity to expand?
Honestly, it's just, I don't necessarily know if it's the technology or just the inspiration or just the time or just the fact that 2016 I went septic, and when that came out of that, that's where a lot of the writing came from. This time around, I'm just, okay, God, this is now my second chance of second chances. I'm not messing it up again. I'm taking even a step further, more than just the writing. And we're going to just celebrate life all together and make sure that everybody else can share it. There are now more platforms than there were in 2016 available. And this allows me a bigger platform to share it on more than there were in 2016. So there's more platforms and technology along with it than there were then. And so as more become available, you have Gab, you have Truth, it's not just the standard Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter that's available now. Well, X. There's so much more available now than there was even then. And so when you grab a hold of all of that, you have a whole world now that's open to you that wasn't before.
What amount of time do you spend on a daily basis actually doing marketing for your books?
Marketing for the books takes off on their own, actually. I get messages all the time of people trying to market for me. And I'm like, I haven't actually done a whole lot of marketing for my books, but they always seem to continue to sell. I've started picking up the marketing for the books themselves again, and I'm refreshing those because I had been down so far on my own because of the cancer. And I had also gone to school the year before. But I have yet to not sell books each month. And now that I've started another trilogy, which is the fantasy trilogy, that should be coming out in 2026, at least the first book should, then I'm starting to refresh what I have already out. And now I'm starting to refresh what I've got out with the book trailers and putting those back out again, and now putting them on TikTok. And I'm allowing that to refresh back out again, and people are starting to pick those up again, and the sales are starting to come out again.
Okay, so when you do a book trailer, typically how much time does that take?
Honestly, not too much. I've already got access to the shorts, and so I put them together pretty quickly. But I am a little bit more technologically oriented than others. When I do speaking engagements, I did one in July. I did a week-long speaking engagement, and I did an equip class is what I called it. Equip 101, 201, 301, 401. And I basically did everything from sit down and type to book trailers to book covers to everything from go to woe and beyond, including finding scammers in the entire class. And so as a speaker, I can pretty much cover anything that anybody wants because I do all the things. And that's why I laugh half the time people message me, because they're like, well, I can do this. Well, so can I, and I can do it for free.
I've seen a few of those myself, actually. But, would you like to write a book? Okay, yeah, well, okay. But anyway.
Publish a book. No, I can do it for free.
But travel and photography, let's go down those couple roads there. Photography, where did you develop your skill level there?
It's time and angles. When Super Hubby and I first got together, he has slowly developed his as well, because I learned to show him through my camera lens and through my now phone lens. I'll look at this angle or look at that angle, and he's starting to get, as he calls it, artsy where he's like, hey, check this out. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Then I just tilt it just a little bit more. He goes, oh, that's even better. And he's just like, oh, that's really cool. So when you learn to work with light and angles, you start to see stuff a little bit differently. When we took the Navajo Trail down at Bryce Canyon, there were people that were walking by and they'd look at what we were doing. They kind of look over our shoulders and they'd be like, that's a really cool angle. Or we'd be walking down and I'd stop and I'd take like 5-second videos, because you could do that with CapCut and you can make really cool videos that way, but that'd be like 5 to 6 seconds. And then CapCut only takes like 2 or 3 and sometimes 6 seconds of the videos. And so I'd line it up and they'd be like, what are you doing? And I'd say, well, see how that particular one has like a little window. And if you look through it, it looks like Table Mountain in South Africa. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I didn't see that. Well, you need to stop and look, not just walk to the next destination. Stop and take a look around you, because you're missing views that are right there. And you got to stop and look.
Yeah, many years ago, decades ago, I used to carry cameras, filters, all lenses, all sorts of stuff wherever I went. And it got involved with reflections off of things and night photography. And, nowadays you carry your entire world in, just one little thing. And it's just not, it's different, but it's the same. Mm-hmm. But when I want to do something with an f-stop, okay, just manually set up, boom, I can. But nowadays it's not quite the same. But anyway, it's something I enjoy doing. I just don't do it as much as I used to. But every so often I walk by, oh, the sun just hitting that pearl. I remember Trieste, Italy. And it was just that one time when the sun was shining. I had to get a camera because it doesn't last. The sunset shots, they don't last that long. And I had one trip when my wife and I did the Camino de Santiago. I had one picture that out of 3,500 I took. Mm-hmm. That is my favorite, because it was like a golden hue over everything in the morning. And I took another picture literally a minute or two later, and it wasn't the same. And mm-hmm. So it's not only having the technology and knowing how to use it, but identifying this is the time when you can really see something. And that's what I think you have, is the fact that that creativity in your brain, you see something and you can develop it more than just mm-hmm. enjoy it enjoy it and savor it and share it with others. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah. And it's even like when we went to Cave of the Moon in Idaho, we hiked this one thing. It was called Inferno Cone. Initially, it started off, it looked like there was just this little hill. It's not. It's this little hill plus another little hill plus another little hill to get to the top of this cone, where I swear they had to have had like oxygen tanks and a Red Cross up there, but they didn't. But by the time you got up there and took a look around, at the top of there, one of the videos I did is, hey, any movie producers, any directors, any authors, any vloggers, any type of creatives, get up here, because things that are growing up here shouldn't. And the views up here would inspire you to write things that you never thought you could. And one of these caves that we went into, the one where I actually bit it and my knee kind of took a nice chunk out of it, it looked like something that was a cross between the movie Damsel, the show The Witcher, and Lord of the Rings. And when we came out of it, it looked like we're coming out of Mordor. When you find these places, this is the stuff that inspires you to write. This is the stuff that is in the US. And if you stay in your little hidey hole and you just write in your little office, you're not going to find the creativity in your little office. I mean, you can, but you need to go out and find it in the world that's around you. You'll find it in the people. You'll find it in the places. You'll find, unique people. We ran into people all over the place. If you look at some of my videos, there are people in those videos that we ran into. And they're actually in there of people that we talked to and that we met. And I love meeting people and including them in the videos as well.
Podcasting, that's another area you've gotten into here recently. Talk about that.
I've been podcasting actually for a while, but we have two different types of podcasts. We have Magic Making Mischief with my Magic Making Mischief sisters, Mommy Rolla and Nikita. We cover everything that's pretty much Comic-Con related. That is doing amazing. We have voice actors, we have actors, we have cosplayers, we have musicians, we have artists, we have everything. You can look us up there. That's Magic Making Mischief. You can find out on my website underneath the podcast. The other one is with author Michael Scott Clifton. We had to suspend that for a while due to the cancer because technologically he's not quite there yet, whereas Mombi could cover me. We are actually reinitiating that one in January. That covers everything author related. So any authors who want to be on, let us know. We do that one. It's not your standard one though. It's topic based. So for example, Red, if you wanted to be on it, you'd say, hey, my topic based is health. What makes your books different than somebody else in the health related business is what I would ask you. And you would tell me, and then we would discuss your books as well. So it's very topic based. And that makes ours a little bit different than somebody else. But we cover everything from AI to audiobooks to marketing to everything that I know, y'all are going to know. And that's the beauty of, what we do. And Mike and I have been doing this. This will be our 5th season. And so it's all on there.
Yeah. One thing I didn't ask you about earlier, I have it on my mental list of things, is AI, because some people as authors shun it. Other people use it, whatever reason they need. What's your liaison with AI?
AI, I think, is a problem. And here's why. When people write with AI, and I ran into this in college as well, I write what I write from my brain. When people write from AI, they're pulling from other people. And I don't think people today sometimes realize that they look at it as a cheat. It is a cheat because you are plagiarizing somebody else. AI pulls it from the internet. It is a tool. If you get stuck and may need it to use it as a prompt, that's a little bit different. But when people are using it to write speeches, when they're using it to write books, when they're using it to write other things, that's a problem. Because it is being pulled from somewhere else. It's being pulled from somebody else's work. Generally speaking, there are 7 basic storylines in the entire planet. The difference is the people's experiences of the writers. When you use AI to write your stories, or you're using AI to write whatever you're writing, that's a problem because it is pulling it from other people's stories, and you are technically plagiarizing without knowing that you're doing it. So AI is a problem, and it's going to be a problem. It has to come from here, and it has to come from creativity. And AI is pulling the ingenuity out of the world. And in doing so, the schools are doing it too, because they're pulling out the arts. They're pulling out the creativity, which means that it's actually making the kids the creatives, it's making the creatives feel less than, because it's pulling all the arts out of school and focusing on athletics and academics as opposed to arts. And that's a problem as well.
We're getting ready to end here very quickly. How do people get their books? Do you have any classes coming up? Anything at all that people should know?
My books are all online, and so are they're on my website, cjpetersonwrites.com. A portion of the proceeds of all of my novels go to charities, and you can find all of that online, as well as my book trails at cjpetersonwrites.com. It is all on there everywhere. If you scroll down just below a little bit, all of my socials are on there. And those are those standard socials. Go just a little bit lower, and you can even find my non-standard socials as well.
Non-standard socials. Interesting.
Yeah, just below there. Well, the non-standard ones where they don't have all the links. Go a little bit lower. Right there are the social media profiles.
Yeah, I was actually in that this morning looking at some things. So anyway, CJ, thank you so very, very much. I really and truly appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate you.
And I look forward to our next visit, and maybe down the road I can be a guest on one of your shows. You never know.
Definitely. Anytime. Hit me up. I got you. Anybody who wants to let me know, it's cjpetersonwrites@yahoo.com if you're interested in either Magic Making Mischief or on Book World. Let me know.
Fantastic. Thank you, CJ. We'll catch you later on, and we will catch the USA Global TV and Radio Network, the Corner Bookstore, next week, same time, same station. In about 20 minutes, the Wise Ones, I'll be the host on that particular show coming up here shortly. So you all have a great day, and we'll catch you later on. Bye now.
We face daily cyber risks, spending over 7 hours of screen time, including 4.5 hours on mobile phones. This convenience comes with significant dangers, with cybercrime costs predicted to exceed $10.5 trillion by 2025. In 2023 alone, seniors lost over $3.4 billion to cybercrime. Our goal is to make social engineering concepts of cybersecurity easier to understand. We work with business teams, senior living facilities, investment companies, and educational institutions, both individually and in groups. We offer real-life examples to help you recognize and prevent attacks, with sessions available both in person, in selected regions, and remotely. Schedule your training session, or to learn more, contact us today. Call us at 847-845-9360. Email us at info@cybersecurityeasy.com. Protect your team and family with cybersecurityeasy.com.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers, discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, music score by Yeffy Tang, creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Meet Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, President, Founder, and Chief Listening Officer of USA Global TV and Radio. She is a certified life, career, and executive coach. Dr. Jacqueline is the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Behind the Green Screen.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradiosshop.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradiosshop.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.